Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Well, today is a sad day. I just read of the passing of Traci Braxton. She is one of the Braxton Sisters, and she passed away this morning, and this is March 12th, 2022, marker date of esophageal cancer. The family just announced it. Apparently, she had been going through this for a year, and they decided not to share that with the public. But today, she lost her battle with cancer. I know what it means to lose a sister, and so that's why I'm saying the heartache of losing a sister. It is something. But I do admire the Braxton family. They're a show business family. And I believe that they have used their gifts responsibly, and the public has been enriched by them. I think that they have shown a side of Black Americans and Black American life that we have all appreciated, or that many of us have appreciated. They were brought up in the church. Their father was a pastor. And I do remember Toni saying during the early part of her career that they were one of those families where they couldn't even listen to R&B music or listen to the radio. So they were a strict family. They were brought up in a very strict religious environment, and to a certain extent that shows. Now here's what I admire about them. The Braxton sisters adhere to a certain standard of behavior in public. And I am basing this on what's being said and done in the public. But now, I'm not one of these people that believes everything that somebody says about somebody else. I don't believe every gossip person. I don't believe everything somebody says just because this person's in the public's eye. But as far as I can see, for all of those sisters, they have carried themselves with dignity. Now, Tamar is the most extra of the sisters, and she's talked about more, but she still knows what's expected of her, and she knows how far to go, because I know something about these Southern Black families, and when you're in a real Southern Black family, where you are close, you know how far to go. You know what is not accepted. I don't care what other folks are doing. You know what is not acceptable in your family. But the Braxton family has stayed centered. They even brought their mother aboard. And one of the most outstanding moments was that day she told Tamar she's going to slap the piss out of her. I think that resonated all over Black America. Because your mama will say something. But they have stayed centered. They have stayed close as a family. And if you watch their TV show, you can tell they have their difficulties, their ups and downs, like any family, but they've stayed together. And they have built a degree of wealth for themselves. And that's just as important as anything else. That is what's so extraordinary about the Braxton family. And back when I was really watching their show, they bring their father on from time to time. And he was a piece of work too. So they were brought up in a household of strong parents, and that comes through. All of the Braxtons are singers, and they're all good singers. They're all good singers. But Toni became the breakout star. But she brought her sisters along with her. And they worked and worked and worked until they worked up the TV show, Braxton Family Values. And it's one of the shows that I used to watch. I don't watch much television now, but I used to watch it, and I really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the family dynamics of that show. It wasn't always pleasant. They stayed into it, especially with Tamar, who was just a drama queen. But the show was interesting. For the most part, I'll put it that way, for the most part, you don't hear about them out here drinking and drugging and doing all kinds of low life stuff. You just don't hear it. And even in their music, they dress beautifully. They're beautiful. They're sexy. They're all of that. But you don't see them. There is a level that they just don't. They don't stoop to every level. And I know they're getting older now, but they never did. And they are the example that you can present your talent and combine it with your beauty without degrading yourself and making yourself and Black women look bad. I'm not trying to say they're perfect. They are in show business, and Toni is known for dressing provocatively, and Toni has gone bankrupt a time or two. But that's a way of holding on to your wealth. That's how people hold on to their wealth when they're not great managers. Traci has left behind a portfolio. She has left behind a respectable body of work, wealth, and a legacy that her family, her husband and children and sisters and relatives can be proud of. But what I find endearing about the Braxton family is that they stayed together, they worked together, and they built something together. Because very often what happens in American society is when a family comes up like that, there's usually one that's more marketable, you might say. So Toni was that person in that family, but Toni always used her sisters as backup singers. Because when you make a big star, and Toni would be considered a superstar in that realm, then the people who run these businesses, they like to alienate black people in particular from their family and friends. You isolate them, and that way it makes it easier to exploit them. That is to say, it makes it easier for the people who are behind the scenes to rob you. That's how I'm going to say it. Because what the system says to black people, and I've heard this more than one time, what the system says to black people, very talented black people, you can come, but you can't bring anybody with you. Bringing somebody else with you means you're bringing somebody who can influence you, and that it makes it harder for people to exploit you and take advantage of you. So the Braxtons stayed together. It's possible that one of them could have made way more money if they had separated from their family. They might have made more money, but they wouldn't have been able to keep it. Because as has been stated before, black Americans very rarely are able to pass down generational wealth. When they make all this big money in show business or in athletics or maybe some other areas, they aren't able to pass that money down, because it'll be just like with Michael Jackson. Where did his money go? His family's not in charge of that money. So it's important that black people understand that, and that is what I really, really like about the Braxtons. They stayed together and they built together. It is truly heartbreaking to lose a sister. The chain has been broken, but she'll always be with them. They never really leave you, because you never stop talking about them. Even after they're gone, you still talk about, remember that time when Traci did this? Remember that time when Traci did that? But the Braxton family has a lot to be proud of. That they really stuck with their family values, and they helped each other. You have to believe that they helped each other, because one or the other could have gone off and tried to do her own thing, but they didn't do that. They stayed connected, and for that I applaud their parents. Traci was 50 years old. She was married. Her husband's name's Kevin Surratt, and they have 3 children. I pray for their healing and for their peace. I lift up the Braxton sisters in their hour of bereavement, and I hope they realize what an inspiration they've been to many. They have shown that a family can work together, grow together, and build together. So thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.